Top of the morning to you. Hey, I'm getting ready to jump on. I'm going to roll a little video for you here this morning. I want you to take a quick look at it because we're going to paint this rooster right here in 1 second. And as they say on Bush's Beans, roll that amazing bean footage. Whoop. Hey, top of the morning to you. I'm Michael, or as the grandkids call me, Roo. Thanks for being on the show this morning. The reason they call me Roo is because, well, the last name is Haun. It's German. It means rooster, and I paint roosters. So welcome to Roodoodles Live. This is what happens here in the morning. Thanks for being on the show. Let me jump ahead here just a little bit. Did you see the video? If I'm gonna show it to you again because we're gonna paint that, but I'm not gonna show you right now in this second. Let me kill the orchestra there just for a second. Here's the desk this morning. This is what you're looking at. I just painted this little roo. I sat down here early this morning and I painted it on Fluid 100 paper. It's 100% cotton. Love this little boop when it happens right here. Don't have to paint on 100% cotton, but I like it because it's bright white. I like it the way it holds colors. There's so many things I like about this this paper. And at the same time, you know, I like just pencils and paper. So don't say, oh, I can't paint that because I don't have that kind of paper. Just don't go there. What if you didn't? What if you did just paint on what you had? So here's the thing. This is one of my favorite artists. He died just a couple years ago, I think 2018. So that'd be 3 years ago. Charles Reed. And I've talked about him on the show lots of times. His style of loose painting and just dipping the brush and throwing the paint across the room and then coming back and just touching it. He really did take water and color seriously. Paint with water, add the color. Sometimes we get into, look, I'm not talking about fine art. I'm talking about single hair brushes where you go in and put every hair on every dog. That's not who I am, and that's not why you come here. You come here because I'm a storyteller. I connect whimsical paintings with story. Everything's fodder for a story. Those are part of the rules on this show, and so that helps you communicate and spread some smiles and laughter around this world, okay? Let's do it. So here's the concept. I'm going to show you this painting that I just did in the video, and I'm going to roll it again, and I'm going to stop it and say, ooh, let's paint this together, but here's what it looks like. This is the painting. It's 6x8. I just flipped this open, did a quick little sketch, and then grabbed one brush, which happened to be a Yasutomo bamboo brush, wetted a little bit, dipped in my paint, and then just started adding pieces. I also added some ink, and that's why this little block is here. You don't have to have one of these blocks, but it's a little piece of slate, and it has a little divot in it, so it keeps some of the ink off of me and off of other places. So we're going to paint that this morning. Let me say hello to some of you, and then we'll just plow through here, because plowing is part of watercolor painting. You figured that out by now? Morning, Randall Taylor Craven. Deborah Rideout, Bob from the Madcap Cornfields of Iowa. Good morning from quite snowy Wyoming. Woo-hoo-hoo. You know, I've never been in Wyoming, but I got to get out there someday. I'd love to just take a RV, and traipse across the country for a couple of years and just paint. Wouldn't that be fun? Stop some cities and make a couple phone calls. Say, hey, let's gather maybe for some coffees, for some tea, a cup of something, and just paint for a while. Man, I would love to do that. That's on my bushel basket list. The heck with a bucket, too small. Karen Binder, thank you for being on the show. Kimberly Nash, Jennifer Thistle. Man, Thistle, it's Thistle or it's Thistle. I don't know, because it looked like it ought to be E-L and L-E, but I'm sure I messed it up. But you guys have great grace and patience with me because I'm from East Tennessee. And Atlanta Couch, thank you for being on the show. Kathy Lennon, Bonita Dornhecker. Woohoo! I don't know that I've pronounced Dornhecker on this show before, but I like the name. I got to figure out. I wanted you to tell me what it means, or I'll look it up. But I think it's fantastic. That sounds like a painting to me. Dornhecker. Okay, Barbara Mayer. I bet in school that was a trip. Donna Barton. Thanks for being on the show. Alice Durham. Lynn Miner. Not Minor, but Minor. 49er and his daughter Clementine. No, this is M-I-N-O-R. Okay, so Dorothy Beasley. Chris Whitaker. Thanks for being on the show. Belinda Piazza. Or Pisa, Grace, thank you for being on the show. Jan Campbell and Margie Quayle and Lori Stanley, Hindermeyer Handelson, or Handelmeyer Henderson, whichever you want to do it. Janice Scott, Pat Brooks, thank you for being on the show this morning. Pat got a little piece of art I'm going to flip up on the show here. Ugh. Annette says it's Monday and it's snowing. Yeah, well, it happens even in the springtime. The biggest snow I ever remember in western North Carolina was on April the 22nd, and it snowed 22 to 24 inches that day, and I was trying to drive piles to build something at a camp, and pylons into this lake. Had the cranes out there and had everything set up, costing me a lot of money, trying to make my budget work, and it starts snowing, and the driver looks at me and he's going like, hey, it's snowing. And I said to him, keep driving those piles. So after the snow started piling up, he said, I'm out of here. And he left. So it happens. Good morning, Carol Marcy. Good morning, Roo Daddy. Haven't seen you on the show for a while. And I still owe you a painting. Someday you're going to get it and you're going to go, what the heck? He actually sent me the painting. He's been telling me he's going to send me forever. There's a free painting laying around here somewhere that said, and I'm sure, I think I still have it, but it said, put this in a nice frame because the painting was free. And it was just a quick little doodle that I did. And a lot of good it's doing you, right? Cindy Adams, thank you. Good morning from Texas, the entire state. Jimmy Jensen, Jessica Hadlock, or is it Hawlock? Linda Linhart, Linda Burr, Mickey Hupp. Golly, people, thanks for piling on this show. And thank you, Lisa Bryant. Thanks for being here. John Robert Small from the Flower Gardens. And John, you're going to be proud of me, my friend, because yesterday I just purchased a whole bag of wildflower seeds. And I think I'm just going to you know those old movies where the guys escape from, those prisons by digging a tunnel, and they would put the dirt in their pockets and they would walk around the yards and they would, just shake the dirt out down their pants. Like, I think that's what I'm going to do in the neighborhood. I think I'm just going to fill up my pockets full of wildflower seeds, cut just a little hole in the pocket, just sort of shake them out as I walk through people's yards. They're like, where'd all these wildflowers come from? I know all of them won't grow because I know the parable. The birds come and eat some, and some are choked out by I know all that. So Ann Wester, thanks for being on the show. Sandy Rowe, Dolores Bolin, Laura Mayer from the Twin Cities. Oh no, Susie DeLay said. I don't know what that's for, but oh no. Love the video presentation and that music. You've used it before. Yes, and you know what? I have people ask me about that piece of music. They really do. They ask me quite a bit about this piece of music right here. Listen. Nice piece of music. All right, I'll stop it right there. Let me tell you about the piece of music. I purchased it recently to use in a video production, and I think I paid, I don't know, $50 or $75, maybe a little more for that piece of music. The royalties to use it on shows like this, and the royalties to use it on the video productions that I do, because music is sometimes something when a guy does a show like this that you can get trouble for. You know, traveling as a singer, songwriter, storyteller for years. Let me just say this, and about your captions and about your productions and your storylines and what you might be learning art from is pastiche. You can pastiche. You can learn that. It's the French word for I can copy it. But what you can copy, what you can't copy, you have to be careful. Like if somebody sends you a card and you go, oh my gosh, I love the caption on this card. I think I'll just use it on my card and start printing that. It may be a public domain thing that you can do, and it may not. It may be the words to a current song that you're really not free to. You can use it for your own use, fair use at home, but you can't sell it. I'll give you an idea. You're free to ride the train, but it's not necessarily free. You're free to take the train, but you're not free to take the train for free if it's a charging train. You're free to put a song on your album, but you're not free to use that song if you don't get rights to use it. Like my first album had 2 songs on it by the old bluegrass guy who's gone on home now, John Hartford. And so I had to contact his publisher in Elgin, Illinois at the time. It's crazy how those things lock in your mind, and send all these E forms, D forms, and through the library. Back then, the Library of Congress was involved, where my songs were copywritten and all this stuff. Because you use copyright, you use all that. And so I had to get permission, and then I had to pay them. So I had the freedom to use the song, but I had to pay them so much per album, per song, per side. Crazy who figures all that out. It's gotten a little squirrely today because of digital music and Spotify's and all that, what you can use. But on a piece of music like that, the music itself, and I'll get the title for you. I can't remember what it's called right now. Sometimes I go down that black hole of music supplies because I'm a production person, and I go in that to find the right piece of music. And I thought, I love those violins rocking. And so I purchased that piece to use. So I have the rights to use it on this show, broadcast it out to you, but I don't have the right to, well, I even have the right to use it on a television show. If it went to motion pictures and they use it there, I'd have to pay more of a royalty. So even that's calculated. Who keeps up with that? I'm not sure. But that'll just give you a little idea on copyright stuff. Thanks. I've had several people ask about that piece of music. Let's paint this painting and me quit talking, and I'll say hello to a few more of you in a minute. Sheila Hunt, thanks for being on the show, and Becky Smith. Jack Wolfenbarger, good morning to you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Kelly Berger. Here we go. I just stopped that video because I want to start on this painting right here. This is the painting that I did a time lapse on. Okay. Now I painted it on this paper, and this paper is a easy block. It's not a block that's glued all the way around. It's just glued on 2 sides, top and bottom. So if I take the paper and just insert a little paper folder or palette knife or something down in there, this is a little splitter that's made by, guess who? Cheap Joe's. They just dropped it in my bag one day while I was getting some stuff there. Cheap Joe's Art Stuff. I buy a lot of stuff from them, as you guys know. I love their paint. I love their paper. Come on. Who doesn't love good paint and paper? And it's great to know a company. So there's a piece of it split off. It's nice, bright white cotton. Let me fold this right here, put this back, and I'll lay this over here. And I can look at it, or I don't have to. But I thought, if you want to get some stuff and paint with me, some take notes. But I'm going to paint this just kind of slow for you this morning. A little slower than what I painted it right here. Watch one more time. Okay, so watch closely. All right, let's stop right there. All right. So what you got me sketching it, and then you saw me reach in and I sketched it with a Pentel pen just to make it loose. And then what I did was I reached in and I grabbed, I think I grabbed the Lamy pen. Okay, not a llama, but a Lamy pen, Lamy. But John Robert Small tells me it's pronounced Lamy because you say the H in there. He wrote it that way. He didn't say it. So here's what I'll do. I'm going to take this and I'm going to say, let's do his comb up here like this. And I'm really not trying to make it exactly like that other one. And then I'm just going to rough shot his body out like this. And then I'm going to go in and maybe come down here and do a leg coming down like this, and his toes in there, his back toe there. I'm going to go ahead and put a little different than the other one. I'm going to put his other leg out here like he's walking toward you. And then I'm just going to stop right there. Okay? So that's this one I did this morning for a time lapse. That's this one that I just sketched. Okay? So it's laying up there and I can see it, but at the same time, I want to come in and I just want to grab some, and I'm doing this for two reasons today. One is I want to go towards some black in the tail. The other is I want to show you where the water's going, and sometimes you can't see all that on the show. So I'm just going to go put some black in here like this with this fountain pen, okay? So there. I like that tail, okay? It's perfect, perfect. All right, one of the things I'm going to do here is I'm going to reach and grab a little piece of slate with a hole in it, and I'm just going to grab it right here. It's not a hole in it, but a divot in it. I could do this another way, but I'm just going to grab some India ink, and I use 3 different kinds of ink sometimes. I use this Higgins Black Magic. It's very inexpensive. Actually, this is too. This is $5. This is probably $2. This is Bombay by Dr. P.H. Martins. And then also, I know some of you, I think Pat sent a link this morning that said, or maybe it was a couple days yesterday. I don't know. Through the weekend, I don't see some of my emails. So that she was going to watch Lynn Zen at the University of Miami do a demo. And this was the ink that I had with Lynn Zen. This ink is 12 years old, but I keep it sealed up. And, it's just black ink, but it's Chinese ink. It works really well. I'm not going to use it this morning because I'm just going to use this Bombay. And I'm just going to do a drop of it here with a dropper. Boop, 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 right there on top of that. And it's there. See that little shiny, that's ink. And I've got to be careful because sometimes I'll reach over, it'll be all over me. I'm going to do this whole painting with one brush. And they're both the Yatsutomo brushes. They're both calligraphy brushes. This one's just been around a long time. They're both probably goat or maybe horsehair in this case. Yatsutomo people, call me. We talk. Call me. Let's talk about this brush. My folks need this brush. You're not a sponsor yet. You could be. Because I love these brushes. All right. So here we go. All right. So here's what happens right here. I'm just going to start with some clean water. Let me put on a little music here. Don't have that song on here, or I'd put it on. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? All right, just a little music because I'm not going to paint it as fast as I painted this one this morning. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start in here. I need a little more detail right here. I'd like to put the eye in. There it is. That'll just keep me honest when I come to. And let's just drop a little water in there. So watercolor first for those of you who are afraid of watercolor. Watch and you'll see where I'm putting it. Take a look. You can see it because this fountain pen is beginning to bleed. Over here, I'm just going to get a little bit of splash like that. So what I've done is I've just splashed some water in. Let's see if I can get it so you can see a glare. I better not. I'm going to turn it too much. Okay, so let's do this. Just a little bit of water that's left in the brush. I'm going to go in and I'm just going to get some. I can paint this out of my regular pan here. And these, of course, I wet a little bit beforehand, like so. Sounds like a painting class this morning, huh? But most of you have been through this with me 229 days or more. Or you can paint on out of a pan like this. Same colors as these here, where I'm looking over here. Same colors here. I just drop them in here. Sometimes if I'm in a hurry, I'll just grab this pan and I'll just throw a little water in there and I'll just run and get some of the paint like this. Just use this brush to roll it around, wake the paint up. Good morning. And then come in and just do a little bit of that and then just drop it in. And look what happens when I drop it in there. It sort of starts to chase the water. And that's the part I love. Look at this. If I turned it down like this, you see it start to run? It just ran down. Nothing wrong with that at all. In fact, I'll just paint out of this. Same colors as this palette, because these are my colors. They're the colors that I choose. Now, Cheap Joe's likes me, and I like Cheap Joe's, but they haven't started naming the colors yet. But I'm telling them that this is going to be Roo Red when we're done. This is going to be Tail Feather Blue. This is going to be green as grass green. And, of course, I've got other colors that I'm coming in. Terry Tardy, turquoise, and all those other things that are coming here. Sorry, I forgot to turn off my email this morning. And so if I don't really care who won the Oscars last night, except for a couple of friends of mine who were up for an Oscar. I mean, not an Oscar, but a Grammy. A couple of musical friends. All right, that pan's in the way, but let's try it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Look at this right here. Now, I've got a little water back here on the tail, and then I'm going to go in and just barely touch a little bit of the ink in this brush, and then just touch it in the tail, and watch what happens. Take a look. You see it? See it taking off? Look, watch it branch right here. Oh my gosh, it's just taking off. Don't you love that? Let's go get a little bit of blue up here. Wake up some of my blue. I'm reaching up here. Throw some of the blue in like this. And I think that tail needs a little bit of orange in it. So I'm going to go over here in my pan and just wake up some of this orange and just put, I think I just want to just drop it in there like that, okay? I'm not looking at the other painting. I guess I could. That would be helpful. But, you know, it doesn't matter if they all look alike or they don't. I'm painting whimsical roosters. I don't care what they do. I do need a little bit of this turquoise in the body there, though I think it's important. Not for anyone but me. I like some of this new royal amethyst that I got in here. It's that purple look. And I want a little more orange and yellow, red, orange. Too much. I need a little more just regular orange. Getting right in here. Look at this. This is getting kind of ugly right there. Let me just clean that up a little bit like that. And let me go back and get just some clean orange right here. See, this is not scientific, folks. This is just playing with the paint. What if you just did? You know, what if you just played with it sometimes? Okay, so I think there's a little too much dark in this tail, so I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to block some of this. Watch. Press them down, clean some of that out, and then I want to go get a little bit of this cerulean blue and see if I can wake that up. See if I can wake it up, make some here. I want to bring a little more blue into the tail of this rooster. I feel like he had a little too dark coming in there. All right. All right, now we need a little bit of leg color here. Okay, so I've decided what I'm going to do with his legs. So I'm going to pick up some of this with some of this orange right here, and that's going to be perfect. See how fast that was? Look, it's a quick decision. Sometimes people waste minutes and minutes and minutes and saying, oh, I want to know if this is right for a chicken's leg. You go like, chickens don't go around saying, I wonder if my legs look right. Don't you do it either. Okay? Have some fun. My voice sounds weak today, doesn't it? Yeah. Sounds like I woke up after yodeling all night or something. Man, I like this rooster. And you know what I'm painting? Oh, no, I'm painting on the right one. All right, so let's go get this pen right here. This is a fine, ultrafine flare pen, and I'm just going to grab and make some scratching across here like this, chicken scratching as I call it, and then just go like this with my pen. That right there is the perfect way to do ground. Same brush, haven't changed brushes yet. Go in and just go zoop, with some water. See how it starts to run? Now I'm going to go get a little bit of green, earth and green, with it maybe a touch of spring mixed in it. Go in there, and then I'm going to also just get a little bit of dirty or rusty brown to come in and just make my earth a little like that right there. And what's left in my brush, I'll just grab this pencil and just sort of splatter it right in here like this. I like my roosters to look like they've been scratching or they've created a little dirt to wander through. I believe this rooster needs a little bit of red coming in the tail. That ink can get away from you, so be careful if you're just using a lot of ink. It will take off on you and you'll be going like, what happened to that? And there you go. There's the painting. All right. So you see what I did? Now let's look back to this video. Ready? Here we go back. Look. So I did the sketch. And then I added a little bit of fountain pen right here. so you can see where the water's going. Okay, listen. The water is important. Too much water, it goes everywhere. The right amount of water. How do I know if I'm using too much or too little water? Well, experiment with it. That's what playing is all about. You know, that's why paper is still cheap. Do 2 or 3 of these sketches. One where you add a lot of water. Remember, I'm just using one simple brush on all of this. Okay, let's keep going. Now, I've started doing the comb and putting the red in first. There's no rhyme or reason. I like to start at the head and work back. That's just how I do my paintings. And then I used a little bit of that red in the body. Swish, 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 all the way up, okay? Brought in the yellow. There's where I dropped my purple in. Notice, I didn't do paint strokes here. I literally just touched the purple and let it chase the water. And there was my ultramarine blue, or like I call my tail feather blue. I just swept it in there really quickly and just made it sort of just head out that way, okay? And it's much lighter than the one I just painted. And there's where I put the water with a touch it, the blob of ink out of my block back into it. All right, you gotta love what's happening. Watch the black follow the water across. Now here I'm mixing my ink or my paint for the legs. And then I've got some left over my brush. I went back in with a pen, did some detail. There's a splatter. I signed it, and then I stopped. Ta-da! Okay, so now look at the desk. Look at the desk right here. Boom. There it is. There's the one I just did. Here's the one that was the time lapse. Okay, do they look alike? Kinda. You know, and I wasn't really looking, but there's some of the same color palettes. These are fun to do. So if you're painting cats or dogs or flowers, can you imagine doing some flowers and cutting out of that? Sometimes you get so rote, R-O-T-E, into what you're looking over and you're hunkered down and you're tight that you forget to loosen up. What if you just loosened up? What if you did? What if you just painted with water first and added some color? What if you were careful about the amount of water that you used? What if you were careful about what kind of colors you used? But what if you decided to paint 5 of these today? What if you did? Okay, I'll give you an example. I'm going to do one more before I work on a different painting for you this morning. And I'm going to do it on different paper. These are both 140-pound 100% cotton paper. Okay, so I'm going to come back in with this pen and I'm going to just do a little detail in the feet. Why? Well, because I just like to add a little bit of detail in a painting to say, well, it looks like the artist showed up anyway. And then I'm going to sign this one over here. Roodoodles.com. M for Michael, 21 for the year. There it is. Could be 21 for this rooster is 21, but I don't think he's going to live that long. All right, so there we go. So there's 2 of those done. Now, I'm going to lay those over to the side, but I'm going to show you one more, and I'm not going to look at these at all. So there's the 2 that I just did. Okay? All right. Looking at, see, somebody had a question. Nope. So cool. Trying new materials can really recharge creative batteries. Becky Bailey, yes, it can. Okay. All right. So here we go. Boom and boom. I'm going to throw those 2 in the floor, and I'm going to do one more for you. Okay, so look, I'm going to switch paper on you, and I'm going to show you what happens when you paint on this paper. Remember, that was 140-pound cold press, okay, 100% cotton. This is 184-pound vellum surface, so it's a little more like a hot press. Now, I started sketching one just going in the other direction, and I stopped him right there. Can you see that? All right, so here's what's happened. All right, so here's where we're going to go here. Take a look. I'm going to use the same brush. I don't want to change horses on you too fast in the middle. Changing horses in the middle of the stream will get you wet and sometimes cold. All right, let's stop that music for a second. Here we go. I can't sing and play a different kind of music at the same time. I'm coming back in with my Lamy pen. Why? Because I want you to see where the water's going. You notice that I'm not worried about these marks that I'm making out here. I don't care where they go and where they don't go because they really don't have to follow my colors. My colors really don't have to follow the colors. The teacher that makes your kids stay in the lines all the time, I have a hard time with that, you know, unless maybe it's on a math quiz. All right, so here we go. Let's try this one again. If you're really pristine in your style, then I'm going to paint out of this palette right now instead of the other one. This looks a little rough and raucous and messy for some people. However, I know at the end of the week, this is what your palette ought to look like. But my daughter's looks like that at the beginning of the week. Okay, so it's hard to believe that she's messier than I am, but maybe not. All right, so here's the way I would do this. I'd just come in here. Remember, I did pen here. And this is on 184 vellum surface. So everything pen-wise on this page, I didn't do a pencil sketch. Everything pen-wise is going to bleed a little bit. It's going to soften up. Look, see it? I just swept that across there. So watch this. I'm going to go in here, and I'm just going to grab a little bit of red, and I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to start doing this just like so. Okay, bingo. I just finished. How long did that take? When you're saying, well, you left a little spot up here. Yes, and there's something happening here that you probably can't see at home. Maybe you can if you look real close. If you look on this smooth paper, on hot press paper or on vellum surface paper, paper that's slick, the water from your brush mixed with the paint and the media, the red or any color, the pigment, is going to start to bleed a little bit, and it'll give you some dark shadows in there too that really work well. So if you notice what I did right here, look, I went back in with my pen when I was sketching this right here, and I sketched this with a fountain pen, and I just made some extra little dark marks right there like so. I'll just add some so you can see what they're going to do. Okay? All right? So where my water hits those, look, that has nothing to do with my watercolor. That's just watercolor from the ink. All right. So now I'm going to grab a clean brush. Always put a clean brush back into your paint. I try to keep this paint as clean as I can. Grab a little bit of this gamboge. This is yellow beak. And just going to grab it in here and go down and just grab some of that right there. Now, what I didn't do was I didn't put water in here first. So now I'm going to do it on this end. Watch. Here we go. Watch the pen start to roll and watch a little bit of water start to show up on here, and you can see some of it. And there it's beginning to run. Now I'm going to go back in and grab a little bit of this black ink right here and just touch it right here. Look, it just races on smooth paper. Look at it go. It's going all the way back up into the yellow. Now if I want to stop it, I can just hold that side of my painting up a little bit and let it run in that direction. Is that cool or what? Okay. But I like some blue in there, so let's grab a little bit of this blue and bring some of that in. Now I've got it going in the other direction. It's running. Let's get a little bit of that amethyst, royal amethyst I pushed in there. Let's put in some of the Terry Tardy turquoise right here that I did. Just colors that I like in my roux. I like for them to just bounce and jump and be full of brightness. If this gets too heavy in the middle, I'll go in and just soak some of it up like that. Watch, just comes right off. And then I might come back in with a little bit of orange right there and just pop some orange in the back of this, like so. Let me add some of this yellow to this red right here. I'm sorry that little focus button is still on right there. Bad on the technical end. That's me. I'm the technical side of this show too. So some days I just get ahead of myself. I'm going to pick up some of this yellow and go back in here with this orange and get those feet. See, there's a lot of ink in here because of what happens with this paper. It doesn't soak in the paper on a vellum surface. The ink just sits on the surface. So when I put water on it, it's got to go somewhere. How do I know where it's going to go? Sometimes I don't. That's the fun part about watercolor. The fun part is not to get upset with it. Just go with it. Say, well, I messed this one up. I wish I'd have done something else. You go, no, you didn't mess it up. Now, what will happen sometimes if you get too much water, and the paper starts to buckle. See, the black is coming down the hill and it's coming into the leg here. I'm just going to go in and clean that up with a paper towel. And I'm going to throw that paper towel away and grab another one here. It's a little drier. I didn't say cleaner, I said dryer. And I'm going to pick up some of this leg color again right here and just come back in and highlight that like that. There we go. Same with this one here. I'm going to pick up some of that black. So I'm really erasing some and putting back in the colors that I want. Didn't know you could do that with watercolor, huh? All right, so there we go. So now watch this. I'm going to sweep across. All right, remember what I said? Ink on slick paper is going to just sort of lay on the surface. It's going to take it longer to dry because there's not those undulations of cold press to grab the pigment. So it's going to just sit there for a little bit and go, hey, we're get dressed, we're going out. And so I'm going to add, this time, instead of just brushing that with a little bit of water, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of my green in right here. I'm just going to lay some green on top of this and let it just bleed in as it does. So what did I do with my pen? Well, I took my pen and I made some extra heavy marks right under the foot. Why? Because I want some shadow in there. So it's going to turn out kind of natural that way. Go and get a little bit of brown. Sorry about my voice today. Good thing I could probably sing at a wedding today. Our Father. Man, I could be singing a bass today. Oh, dang on. Golly. All right, so here we go. Then I'm going to put some detail in. It's probably still a little wet to do that, but I'm going to try it anyway because I got to get moving. I want to paint one more piece for you this morning. Just kind of a crazy, is today Monday? Yeah, it's painting like a Monday anyway. I'm painting like it's a Saturday, aren't I? All right, so there you go. What if I sign it right here? Roodoodles.com M21. There we go. So there it is right there. I need to give this a little bit of a dirty up splatter. Let's see if we go in and get some Payne's Gray right here and a pencil and just pop some of this right in here like this. And maybe a little blue sky smiling at me. All right, I'm ADD today, man. Fast brain today, Dr. Jim. Okay. My dear friend, Dr. Jim, has got a course that's coming out online right now. Yeah, it's awesome. Fast brain, flipping ADHD on its head. All right, so there you go. Woohoo! Rue, did you get my email question? I don't know, Pat. So there, I'm so sorry. Yeah, make a glorious mess. Julie, morning, everyone. All right. Different roof feet, walking, standing, slow motion. Love these roosters. Thanks for sharing. Thank you. So what if you did? Let me show you what if you did. Hey, take a look at this right here. What if you did? It's a page out of the new book that's coming out, Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle, and this is Pat's artwork. P.L. Brooks, you see her, Patricia L. Brooks on the show. What if you did? And so in 2004, I went to lunch with the station manager of Fox here in Charlotte, and Hutch took me to lunch. He said, "Hey, I'm going to pick you up, take you to lunch." I said, "All right, great." I'd always been loved to go to lunch with the manager of a Fox news station, TV station. Anyway, he said, "Hey, I got something I want to ask you." I said, "What is that?" And he said, "I wonder if you would consider being a part of my news team. I want to start a new news show." And I go, "Hey, I hope you don't find this offensive." And like, I'm not grateful, but I don't even watch the news. And he goes, "No, I know." And he said, "Well, I'm not a news read. I just don't want to read the news that somebody, says every morning and do this and do that." And I said, I don't want to do that, but thank you so much." He said, "No, what if you did the traffic?" And I go, "That is funny, because if you're at home at 6 a.m, well, what do you really care about the traffic anyway? Because you're not going in for another couple hours, and it'll change every 5 minutes." And he said, "Okay, so it's a 3-minute segment. Just do 1 minute, show some traffic maps, and then do the other 2 minutes OTF, on the fly, as we call it in TV. My son calls it that anyway. Whatever you want to do." And I said, "What if I did? What if I did?" And so that "what if I did" became my statement all through the Fox News station. And so You know, I hung a guitar up on the wall and I'd play the guitar during the traffic. And I go, hey, look, if you're driving right now to work this morning, or if you're driving home yesterday and you got a lazy boy on top of the car, stop right now and take it off and put it off to the side of the road before it falls off the car and somebody else hits it. And because people are running over ladders and dishwashers and lazy boys and pieces of PVC pipe, tie stuff on your vehicles, I would say. What if you did? And I would do it in my style that I say to you people on the painting class. You know, when I say, stop doing that, you know, I really don't mean to, because I don't stop. But I mean, like, be creative. It sounds a little bossy and fussy, but it's just a storyteller style. Don't drive with a mattress on top of your car that's flipping up like this when the wind's blowing. There's something about physics you missed. Put it in a truck or tie it down or duct tape it over your windshield. That'll keep you going slow. So the point is I started doing that, and I started saying, what if you did? What if you did? And they'd send me out to do news shots, and I'd always want to do Krispy Kreme, and I'd always want to see how much cream you could put in one of those stuffed donuts before it blew apart. What if we did? And they said, we don't want to do that. I said, yeah, but what if we did? And so, and then I'd say things like, if you're going to work today, and some of you heard me say this before, and this is where what if you did came from. If you're going to work today and somebody is trying to turn into the flow of traffic, and as far as you can see in your mirror, their car's coming, just let them merge in. Instead of, I'm not looking at them, because if I look at them, then I'm going to have to let them in. So I'm just going to look like this. I see them out of my vision, but I'm not going to. Hey, let them merge in. You know why? You're going to get to work 20 feet later than they do. 20 feet. That's it. 20 feet. That's it. 20 feet. What if you did? And so that became the thing. Sometimes I just send the producer a note still today and say, what if you did? And John Moore sends me a note back and say, what if you did? So what if you were creative? What if you thought of 3 things to do every day with art? What if you thought of 3 poems to write? What if you thought of 3 cards to do? What if you thought of a different journal entry? Or someone just gave you a word and said, write something on this or paint something on this? What if you did? That's how I push my creative edge, okay? My brother sent a poem out a while back, and he had the word on there that said, onomatopoeia. And I think I can do this in 20 minutes. Let's see. He said onomatopoeia, which is a great word, onomatopoeia. You know, those of you who don't use it, you talk in onomatopoeias if you don't see them anyway. Cartoons are great for onomatopoeias, or comic books, you know. You knew if a hunter was out hunting ducks or duck, singular, and you weren't going to hear the gun shoot until the cartoon artist wrote bang in there, or kaboom, or something that, it's like the old Batman show. Pow! Those are onomatopoeias. The fist comes around, it really wasn't a hit until you saw smash or pazam or kaboom or whatever it was that they made up. That's an onomatopoeia. And so I thought, how in my unsophisticated, whimsical world of roosters would I do a painting about onomatopoeia? And I did one a few years ago, and I was showing some folks some photos, I guess over the weekend, and it popped up, and I thought I would do a little onomatopoeia for you here, because I'm just crazy, and that's what I thought about doing this morning. All right, so let's see if I can paint one. So I think there's a rooster involved. That would make sense, right? I've got a Pentel 05 needlepoint pen, and here he is, and he's going to be standing here like this. He's a little sophisticated, can you tell? He's got a pin in his foot. I almost said hand, but I guess it's foot. Got a little bit of a box line in here. Let's see. Let's draw some boxes here like this. Let's put some audience here. So this is how I like to sketch. And by the way, I would probably spend more time doing this in maybe just a tad of a neater fashion. But then sometimes I'd say to myself, what for? If you're a whimsical artist, you should probably just enjoy letting it happen as it happens. And so maybe there's a rooster over here behind this one. So I'm doing just some pen marks. I'm just having some fun here. These are apple boxes or fruit boxes or peach boxes, whatever kind of boxes they want to be. I think I got to draw. Oh yeah, we'll draw this backwards here. Let's see. Let's do it this way. Let's do a base right here like so. And then let's do a rod up like this. And then we'll do an adjusting rod and then maybe come in here with a little bit of a microphone. Got some lines on it. There it is right there. Okay, and let's see, where are we? Oh, I know where we are. I remember my old painting. Let's see, it's like this. It's like handle up. Not sure what we're listening to here today, so find the handle up and then all right, so all right, so that'll give me time. I think I can paint this in 10 minutes and give you an idea of where this thing's going. Onomatopoeia is the subject. Let's see what we can do, people. So here we go. A little bit of water. Now remember, this is 140 pound. Take a look what I'm painting on, just so you'll know. This is Kilimanjaro, some of my favorite paper. It's original bright white. It's 100% pure cotton. It's 140 pound. I've sketched with a Pentel pen. I'm going to go ahead and do what I did on the other painting this morning. So my style is sort of staying the same, but this is not the slick paper I just finished on, and I'm going to use a little less water, okay, but I'm going to use some anyway. I'm going to go in and just do a little bit of water right there. I'll paint it out of this palette. I think you can see that, maybe. See, can you see that? There we go. That's probably good. Yeah, you don't care if I mix it. All right, let's just grab some of this and put it in here like so. How fast that happens. I always like to put just a touch of red back in the tail feathers. I don't know. It just makes my roosters want to be a little more colorful. I'm going to go get some of this water. And then I'm going to add the ink this time, but more of the blue. So I've got this blue in here. I love these big old blue tail feathers to come out. And then I'm just going to grab, let's see if I still got some ink. I can wake up on this thing here. Look. Oh my gosh, I reckon. Woohoo! I reckon is probably a southern. It's not an onomatopoeia, I'll tell you that. Okay. Y'all know I love poetry, and Pat wrote a poem this week that I liked. It was fun, and Pat, that will make a story. And some of you write these little captions, and you're doing those, and you're doing more and more of them in writing form and rhyming form sometimes, and it forces you to chase the English language a little bit. You know, do that. Just don't copy what everybody else says and does, for heaven's sakes. Go start and just make up your own words. I had no idea. We were staying with a friend in Florida, and one morning I was painting at the kitchen island, and she was doing a crossword puzzle. She and my wife were sitting there, and they started saying things, and I'm listening, and suddenly she said, "What's the ba 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 down?" And I went, boom. And she went, "Well, yeah, that's right." And I went, "Okay, I guess I am playing along." And so I learned a couple new words while I was sitting there that morning. So that happens from time to time. do find myself painting to the music sometimes. So choose your music wisely. What if I did? What if I painted to the orchestra? Wouldn't that be fun? All right. I got to watch my time this morning because I'm on my way out the door at 10 o'clock sharp. Got to get to the small little place a half hour from me called Shutterfly. Working on another video shoot there today. Okay, so let's see. That's supposed to look like, there we go, a cast iron skillet hanging on the wall. Got a little bit of wall dirt here coming down. I needed, if I spent some more time with this, you could see I'd come in, get a little brown, create a little bit of a barn setting here. Want to do this roo up here. There he is. So this is the audience. These are probably the boxes right here. Maybe come in and get some of this right off of here. Sometimes I love just going in and getting the color off of, I like getting the color off of the painting itself and using that as my palette. I'll probably come in too and get some of this black and put it in there like this. That one's not going to work, but I bet this pen will. That's what I love about these Pentel needle points. Sometimes they'll just write right over the wet colors. Go in here and get a little bit of this black and just come in here with the mic stand. See there, I didn't even have to go back to the palette. I'm just using my bird as part of my my painting palette. And you'll learn to do that kind of stuff as you just experiment a little bit. And look, every painting that you do doesn't have to be pristine and perfect, but every painting that you do will help you do the next one because that's your practice while you play. So don't be offended if it comes off a little rough and you're not happy with it. Just go back and tweak it a little bit. All right? Okay, so I need a little bit of color on this rooster's tail. He's got a little bit of purple in him right there, but he's also got a little bit of a green tail. Don't see many green roos, but they're out there. Need some. Okay, so now what I could do is just come in and make some mess under here with my pen, like I were an architect. If I were an architect and you were a lady. All right, so you get the idea, right? And of course, I have to have a little bit of Lucky Penny. This pen, his pen's going to be Lucky Penny. I'm using this big old calligraphy brush, and it's working pretty doggone well. Might go in here with my pen again. What if you did? The Regal Roo. Love the saw. Yeah, well, I'm not done with the saw. Woo-hoo-hoo. Okay. All right, so look at this. I'm just going to go back in. This is how I do my earth underneath. I go zip, 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 and then I do some cross-hatching like that. And I just do the cross-hatching one way. Why? Just because I'm lazy. Okay, get a little bit of this probably needs to have some straw color down. This is probably taking place in the barn. He could be on the side of the barn, though, and maybe, you know, if I really wanted to get fancy with this, I'd have maybe a spotlight coming in on the rooster, which I think I should do anyway. Maybe I will to finish this. I love how I ran out of the lines right here. So to want to add some lines, I'll just come in and add a little bit right here and some over here. So I really have this frazzled. I'd love the fact if he had on reading glasses too. So I might change that. No, and I'm rushing a little bit, but I think I'm going to have time with this. Let me get to a little microphone right there. Okay, so there's the painting. So I told you the subject was onomatopoeia. Love these. Now I'll go back in and fill in a little bit, and then also I'm going to come in here and just grab a little bit of Payne's Gray and just touch some of these hens and the little peeps and put a little bit of a dirt on them. They were just too clean for me, you know. And yeah, I think this is going to be on the outside of the barn. So I'm just going to go back in and put that green grass there. That just looks so much better. All this is hanging on the outside of the barn. Maybe there's a barn door up there. Maybe there's a roof that's coming down this way and that's hanging there. Who knows? Who knows? I'm just making this up as I go. I should. And that's what you should do on a lot of your paintings. You should just kind of run with it. And then what will happen is this will develop into, morning, Snitzer. Good to have you on the show, buddy. And Sue Harrison, you Yorkshire folk, welcome. Fixin' and reckon and fixin' too are Southern words amongst many. Yes, June, they are. But as Becky reminds us, the Scots and the Aussies say, I reckon we should put some shrimp on the Barbie. Say they all do that. I finally broke down and bought one. I don't know what you're talking about, but how about playing some of your music some days you paint? That ain't going to happen. But thank you, Jimma. I appreciate it. Maybe I'll find one. Okay. Coffee painting a rooster was so much fun. Bingo. All right. So, Linda, if you want to put that quote on your bathroom door, you can do it. Just take the page right out of the book. It's in the book, Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle. It's coming to you. It's 6x8, but it's going to be on a 6x9 book, so you got a little margin around it. And then the story of what I just told you is on the back. So that's the way Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle is going to be. That's the way we've put that together. Want to know how to get it? Well, it'll be available soon, and you can find it at roodoodles.com. We'll tell you when pre-order starts. Not yet, because I do want to do a pre-sale or a pre-order, but I want to make sure that the publisher's saying this is when we're turning it loose. And so I'm still waiting. It just takes a long time to do this, people, so thank you for your patience. All right, so here we go. Back to the desk and back to PIP. Here it is right here. Ready? Needs a caption, but before I do that, I think this is dry enough to do this. I'm going to go up here, lay my hand right in here without getting it, and I'm going to do. All right, that says open mic night, and I'm just dragging my damp brush across it a little bit so it looks like it were hand painted on there, okay? I need some splatters right here of yellow. Yeah, there we go. And I want a little bit of Payne's Gray coming down. That's too much. Sometimes those brushes just hold so much paint. Wow. That's why I wear white shirts. Okay, I will be changing my shirt before I head down to Shutterfly today. Okay. All right. For my last little poem, let's see. For my last, that's it. I think this was the caption. For my last little poem, an almost onomatopoeia. Seasoning, seared, sizzling, cast iron. 2, 3, 4, 5. I just wanted to have 5-word poem there. There it is. There's your onomatopoeia. Did it. Love it when a plan comes together. Who said that? The A-Team, I think. Man, I am old, people. Okay, hey, love to having you on the show today. I'm going to paint Tuesday, and I'm going to do something crazy. Try one of those little paintings that I did this morning. One of these. Try it with your wildflowers, or try it with your flowers. And I'm going to show you this video one more time of watch how I handled the water. And this is for my little poem, an almost onomatopoeia. Seasoned, you know what onomatopoeia is, right? See, sizzling is the cast iron, seared is the cast iron, seasoned is cast iron. So all those are sort of identifying the sound of cast iron. So that's how I got into the onomatopoeia, and I love cast iron. Man, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. So my little poem, seasoned seasoning, seared, sizzling cast iron. There we go. It's a scary poem to read to a bunch of children who happen to be peeps. And maybe that's why that hen has such a mad look on her face. Nothing madder than a wet hen, okay? Especially if she's on. I think you could add to this if you wanted to, illuminating the free range. Whoa, see the ranges in there and illumination, the spark that illuminates the free range. That could be a great title for this. You can let it just roll. I'd love to have a little bit of a white gel pen. Look at this. I just happen to have one here. And just put a little bit of white in that tail right there, just because I didn't put any in it when I started it. So there's some. Break that up a little bit. All right. Blessings. Watch this for 1 minute, and then I'm out of here. I want you to see this one more time. This is something you can do in the next couple of days if you're thinking about it. You can go back and watch this. Boom. I'm out of here. Hey, thanks for joining the show. Roodoodles.com if you need information. If you want to sign up for my mailing list, I don't send out many emails, but there's a place to sign up on there. Tuesday, I'll see you at 8:57. And, of course, Saturdays and Wednesdays, I teach a class, and that class is full and closed. Thank you, Annette, and thank you, folks, for jumping on. So many of you. I'll go later today, maybe tonight. I'll go back through the show if you had a question I missed because I was on a wild banshee today. And but there it is, onomatopoeia. I'm out of here like a herd of turtles.